Rising tensions in the Baltic. Zelensky warns of Russian provocations. In a stark warning that has reverberated across Europe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has announced that Russia is orchestrating provocations along the borders of the Baltic region. This alarming declaration came during Zelensky's recent visit to Stockholm, amidst growing concerns over Russia's intentions in the Baltic Sea area. Zelensky highlighted disturbing incidents, such as the removal of boundary markers in the Narva River by Russian forces, as blatant acts of aggression. Furthermore, a Russian draft resolution suggests plans to unilaterally adjust maritime borders with Baltic nations like Finland and Lithuania, escalating fears of a broader confrontation. The implications of these provocations are profound, casting a shadow over regional stability and hinting at a potential expansion of conflict zones in Europe. Zelensky's accusations underscore a volatile situation where Baltic nations find themselves on high alert, wary of Russia's next moves on this chessboard of international power dynamics. Kremlin accuses NATO of fueling the Ukraine conflict. The Russian government has launched a scathing critique of NATO's role in the ongoing conflict with Ukraine, labeling it a senseless war. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov articulated this stance, asserting that the U.S., along with other Western nations, has significantly escalated tensions by supporting Ukraine militarily. According to Peskov, these actions are not just contributing to the continuation of hostilities, but are also strategically detrimental to the interests of the countries involved. This accusation comes amid reports of Western-supplied arms being used against targets within Russia, a move that Moscow views as a direct provocation. Peskov's comments reflect a deep-seated frustration with the West's involvement and suggest that the Kremlin sees this support as a direct challenge to its objectives in Ukraine. The rhetoric points to a deepening divide between Russia and NATO, with significant implications for future diplomatic relations and peace efforts in the region. Zelensky's fractured relationship with global allies. Tensions between Ukraine and some of its key international supporters are surfacing, with President Zelensky's office reportedly urging public criticism of U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping. This directive is rooted in their reluctance to attend the forthcoming peace summit in Switzerland, deemed crucial by Zelensky for meaningful negotiations. The Financial Times cites internal communications expressing Zelensky's frustration over what he perceives as a lack of commitment from these global leaders to Ukraine's cause. This strain is further exacerbated by disagreements over military aid and Ukraine's path to NATO membership, alongside restrictions on the use of U.S. weapons for deep strikes into Russian territory. The divergence in views on how to achieve victory and what that victory might look like is creating friction. Zelensky's increasing emotional and nervous responses to battlefield setbacks and perceived diplomatic slights suggest a growing rift that could impact Ukraine's strategic alliances. This discord comes at a critical juncture, potentially affecting not just Ukraine's military strategy, but its broader relationships on the international stage. A tense and uncertain future. The events unfolding in the Baltic region, alongside the escalating war of words between Russia and NATO, and the internal pressures faced by Zelensky, paint a picture of a world at a precarious crossroads. The Baltic provocations signal a possible new front in Russia's strategic ambitions, while the Kremlin's accusations against NATO highlight the deep geopolitical divisions that continue to widen as the conflict drags on. Meanwhile, Ukraine's leadership faces its own internal and external challenges, balancing the urgent need for strong alliances with the reality of political and military pressures. As these narratives continue to develop, the international community remains on edge, watching closely as each move could potentially shift the balance in a region already fraught with tensions and teetering on the brink of further conflict. The stakes are high and the outcomes uncertain in this complex chess game of international diplomacy and military strategy.